Today we're going to do the Power to Change program and explore ways we can reduce energy consumption and fight climate change. So we're going to start off doing examples of excellence and talk about how some of the people in Hamilton are making eco-friendly choices. Then we're going to do perfectly comfortable and talk about how we can use less energy in our houses. Then we're going to move on to build a lunch and talk about how we can make eco-friendly choices when we're making meals. And then we'll do a life cycle analysis, which is a cool activity that shows us how much energy something uses over its whole life. And then finally, we're going to do some planning for fun and plan a fun day for yourself in an eco-friendly way. So people in our community are doing all sorts of incredible things to conserve energy and to tackle climate change. So there are people from charities to faith organizations to not-for-profits to businesses to the city government, and they're all doing really incredible things to help tackle climate change. So what I want you to do today is to look up some of the projects I'm going to go over and make a little presentation about them to present to your parents or a sibling or whoever's at home. So what I want you to include in this is what the project is, who's doing the project, how the project works, what kind of energy it conserves, and where in Hamilton it is. Our first example of excellence is the Indwell Parkdale Landing Building. So this apartment building was built with technology to conserve the amount of energy needed to heat and cool it. It was built to passive house standards. This means less greenhouse gas emissions. Next up, we have the HSR. The HSR is the City of Hamilton's transit system, so right now that's just buses. Cars create a lot of greenhouse gases, so taking the bus is a great way to tackle climate change. You can even bring your bike. Next up, we have Commune Auto. In Hamilton, you can buy a membership to share cars. When we have a car in our driveway, we use it a lot, which increases greenhouse gas emissions. But we often only need a car sometimes. Commune Auto helps you to use busing or walking or biking for most of your day, but if you need a car, you can book one. Up next, we have the McQueston Urban Farm. Food can create a lot of greenhouse gas emissions when it's transported to our grocery stores. At McQueston Urban Farm, food is grown right in Hamilton. Neighbors can walk over to pick or buy fresh food. That means 0 greenhouse gas emissions from transport. Next up, we have the Meadowlands Christian Fellowship Church. Heating and cooling buildings uses a lot of energy, which creates greenhouse gases. This church is one of the first church buildings in Ontario to use geothermal energy for heating and cooling. Next up, we have the City of Hamilton's street trees. Summer is hot in Hamilton. Having a tree to shade your home can reduce the amount of air conditioning you need to use. This means you conserve energy and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Finally, we have New Hope community bikes. When we use bikes instead of cars, we conserve energy and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. New Hope has lots of programs to help more people cycle in Hamilton. And today we're going to talk about how to conserve energy at home. So everybody likes to be comfortable at home. We like to be cool in the summer and warm in the winter, but this can take up a lot of energy. So what I want you to do today is think of some ways that we can reduce our energy usage at home. So some tips and tricks for this one are to try to think about how people did things before they had electricity. We'll start you off with some ideas. For example, when it's hot out, you can use a fan instead of turning on your air conditioning. This helps to use less energy but still keep you cool. When it's really cold out, instead of cranking up your heat, you can put on a nice warm sweater. When it's really hot out, you can have a nice cool snack like a popsicle. And when it's really cold out, you can make sure to open your curtains and let the sun heat your house up. These are all really great ways to conserve energy and stay comfortable in your home. You can do any of these things instead of turning on your air conditioning or turning up your heat really high. Can you think of any more? So when we think about how the food we eat uses energy, we have to think about a couple different things. So the first one of those things is whether or not the food is processed. So processed food takes a lot more energy to make than unprocessed food does. So we can think about an apple and a container of applesauce. So the apple gets grown probably pretty close to here, and then it comes right to me and I eat it and I compost the core. But if I eat applesauce, first the apple has to go to the factory, and then it has to get processed in the factory, and then it has to get packaged and sent to me, and then I have to eat it and throw it away. So lots of the time, if we're looking at conserving energy in terms of the food we eat, we can eat less processed foods, and it conserves a lot of energy. The other thing we can do is eat plant-based foods. So it takes a lot of energy to raise animals and to make animal products, so like meat and cheese and dairy. But when we eat vegetables and fruits, it takes a lot less energy. The other thing that we can do is eat local. So that means our food doesn't have to travel as far to get to us. And all these things are very important to conserve energy, and this is really important in our fight against climate change.
To get some practice, we're going to do a little game called This or That. We're going to look at 2 food options, and you have to choose the more eco-friendly one. First up, we have a banana and an apple. If you guessed apple, you were right. An apple is the more eco-friendly option because it grows closer to home. Next up, we're going to choose between a peanut butter sandwich or a grilled cheese. A peanut butter sandwich is the answer. Cheese is an animal product, so it takes a lot more energy to make. Finally, we're going to choose between a can of soda and a glass of water. The glass of water is the more eco-friendly option. It's less processed, and you can have it in a reusable container.
So everything we buy at the store has a cost. It has a cost when we buy it, and then sometimes it has a cost when we use it. So if we plug it into the wall, it costs money to use. A life cycle analysis helps us see the energy cost of stuff, which is a little bit different. So when we do a life cycle analysis, we look at how much energy we use when we get the materials to make something, when we make something in a factory, when we ship something to a store, when we use something, and finally when we throw it out. So all of this helps us understand how much we're contributing to climate change, because the energy cost of stuff is also about how much it contributes to climate change. So today we're going to be looking at doing a life cycle analysis for a cotton t-shirt, an Xbox, and an iPad.
What we're going to do today is try to match how much CO2 goes with what stage of the life cycle. So we'll think about how much CO2 goes into raw materials and production, how much goes into transportation, how much goes into using it, and how much goes into throwing it out. So when we talk about CO2, we just mean how much energy it uses. We'll start out with the t-shirt. You can pause the video and try to figure it out on your own first. Let's take a look at the answers. Raw materials and production take 8 kilograms of CO2. Transportation takes 0.2 kilograms of CO2. Use takes 14 kilograms of CO2. This is the most out of any of the stages, and that's because we wash t-shirts a lot. And then when we throw it out, it takes 0.7 kilograms of CO2. Next, we'll take a look at the Xbox. You can pause the video and try it for yourself first. Let's take a look at the answers now. Raw materials and production take 156 kilograms of CO2. Transportation takes only 33. Use takes 913. So that's because it has to be plugged in and run off power every time you use the Xbox. And then disposal takes 11 kilograms of CO2. Finally, let's take a look at the iPad. Just like with the others, you can pause the video and try it for yourself first. Now let's take a look at the answers. Raw materials and production take 80 kilograms of CO2. This is because iPads have lots of rare metals that need to be mined in them. Transportation only takes 4 kilograms of CO2. Use takes 13 kilograms of CO2. And disposal only takes 1 kilogram of CO2.
When we buy less stuff, it helps to conserve energy, which helps to fight climate change. So we can take a look at the shopping triangle, and we notice that at the top is the biggest. It's upside down. And in that biggest section, it says buy less. So that's one of the best things we can do to help conserve energy, is to just buy fewer things. So what I want you to do is draw your own version of the shopping triangle and put it on your fridge for your family to see. We use energy every day for all types of activities. To help conserve energy, we need to get in the habit of noticing when we're using energy and when we could choose to use less. The less energy we use, the less greenhouse gas we create. Imagine you're in charge of planning a day of activities for you or for you and a sibling. I want you to use the chart that's coming up in the video to help you plan your activities. Your goal is to have fun, but to use the least amount of energy possible. You start the activity with 10 tokens of energy. Each time you choose an activity, you turn in the amount of tokens required. You can choose any of the activities you like, but you have a maximum of 10 energy tokens to spend. Bonus points if you don't spend them all. Remember that energy includes electricity at home, gas used in cars, food choices, and the energy used to make the stuff we buy. Please make choices that you can actually do. Once you've made your choices on the chart, I want you to draw a picture of what your hangout is going to look like.
First, we're going to pick where we want to go. So we can stay at home, and that uses 1 energy token, or we can go to the park, and that takes 0 energy tokens. Next, we're going to pick how to get there. If you chose home, you don't really need to do this one, but if you're going to the park, you have to decide whether you want to walk, which is 0 tokens, bike, which is 1 token, or drive, which is 6 tokens. Next, we're going to pick what we want to do. So we can watch a movie, which is 3 tokens, do sports at home or at the park, which is 1 token. We can play electronic games like an Xbox or a Wii or something, and that's 5 tokens. Or we can do board games or cards, and that's 1 token. And then finally, we're going to pick what we want to eat. So we can order fast food, and that's going to be 6 tokens, delivery, which is going to be 7 tokens, or we could have a snack at home. So if you choose chips, that's 4 tokens, and if you choose veggies, that's 2 tokens. Take a minute to tally it up and see what score you got. Did you stay under 10? Did you go over 10? Are there ways that you could make your score lower and use even less energy? We talked about a lot of ways we can use less energy and help fight climate change. Now we want you to take action. Follow our Power to Change action plan. Which of these things can you do today? Are there some changes you can commit to making in a little while? Let us know. You can find this list of actions and take pledge on our website, which is on the slide. Thanks for learning with us.